Hare Krishna. So today we are going to discuss about the essence of Bhagavad Gita, and we'll discuss on various points leading to the overall understanding of Bhagavad Gita. Then we'll go point by point. Okay. So before that, we'll just do little Mangalacharan. Then we'll move ahead. ॐ नमः भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमः भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमः भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति सोपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनतन्नितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते तप्त कंचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये पंचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी निति नमिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। Hare Krishna. So we are going to discuss essence of Bhagavad Gita. So let's say we don't know much about Bhagavad Gita. Let's say we are a beginner. So the intention will be, if we know, that is very good. But if we are a beginner, we don't know much about Bhagavad Gita, the intention is that by the end of this session, we should be in a position to say, okay, I understand the essence of Bhagavad Gita. I know the very high level key points, what Bhagavad Gita is directing us towards. So that's the intention of this particular session. So um, first we'll discuss, and then at the end we will have some interactive session. Okay, so that's the goal. That's the plan. So, the essence of Bhagavad Gita. First point is ultimate instruction of Gita. That's the way I have arranged it. Different ways that can be arranged, but this is the way I have arranged it. First point is ultimate instruction of Gita, then position of Krishna, position of living entities, need for surrender, what happens if followed versus not followed instruction, and insurmountable binding power of Maya. What is the best path follow and why? Result of following Lord's instruction, and four activities Lord recommends us to do. So this is the structure. So let's move forward. So this is the ultimate instruction of Bhagavad Gita, 18 chapter 66th verse. And this is also called Paribhashya Sutra in Bhagavad Gita. And this is Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja Aham Tam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshvashvami Masacha. So this is, you can say, this is the ultimate instruction. Krishna talks about the ultimate instruction in 65th as well as in 66th verse. 65th verse we'll discuss at the end regarding the activities what Krishna, four activities what Krishna instructs us. But this is what Krishna wants us ultimately to do. Now, Bhagavad Gita is called Gita Upanishad. This is also called Vedanta. So Vedanta means when we have all the knowledge. When we have all the knowledge, what we do? We do bhakti, and we surrender to Krishna. That's what we do when we know Vedanta or when we become Vedantis. Now, what Krishna is saying over here is Sarva Dharman Parityajya. You give up all other religion. And when Bhagavad Gita was spoken, at that time we were not talking about the other non-Vedic religions, right? Like we have Christian religion, Buddhist religion, Mohammedan religion. The point is, we are not talking about those religions per se, because those religions are not there as per if you go by history. What Krishna is talking about that you know we have some duty towards our country, right? Desha dharma. We have some duty towards our family. Then we have varnashram dharma. Then we have many other dharmas, right? What we need to perform based on our current social position or position in the family or whatever, because those are byproducts of body. What Krishna is talking about is come to the constitutional position of soul, and therefore you surrender unto me. Mam ekam sharanam vraja. This ekam is very important. Krishna is saying surrender unto me. Don't surrender unto other demigods or Vishnu or this and that. He is not talking about anything else. He's saying only me, exclusive shelter unto Krishna. Mam ekam sharanam vraja. Aham tam sarva papebhyo mokshvashayamasacho. Krishna is saying that I will hmm, relieve you of all the sinful reactions which you have come across, which you have accrued over the millions of lifetimes. I will get you rid of those sinful reactions and I will give you liberation. Don't worry. So that is the great assurance given by Krishna. So at the end of study of our Bhagavad Gita, if we come to this conclusion, uh, if you look at it, isn't it very simple that Krishna is just asking for surrender? And to come to this conclusion, let's say we are talking about Veda. Veda is, as Krishna says to Arjuna, the Traigunna Vishya Veda Nistraigunna Bhavarjuna. The subject matters in Veda is in three modes, and therefore you come out of these three modes and transcend that. Nistraigunna Bhavarjuna. Go beyond these three modes. So that's where we can uh, align ourselves with our constitutional position. There we can understand who we are and then we can surrender to Krishna. So Vedanta is after knowing all the Vedic knowledge, you come to Vedanta. And the ultimate essence of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna is talking about this verse, and that is to surrender unto Krishna. So that is the ultimate essence of Bhagavad Gita, or ultimate essence of Vedic uh, study or Vedic instructions. Though there are other more superior instructions, but at this level, this is the ultimate instruction. The though it is said, always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. That is the topmost instruction of all Vedic literature. But at this point of time, you know, Bhagavad Gita is the entry point for higher realization. So from that perspective, Sarvadharman Parityajya, this is the ultimate instruction of Bhagavad Gita. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. So Krishna is giving us Assurance. Now, one may ask, okay, Krishna is giving us assurance. By the way, who is Krishna? Now, different people have different understanding of Krishna, and it has a wide range. I came across a person recently who said, a lot of people just make mundane people uh, gurus these days. They said, okay, and then they worship and they take them to higher level, and eventually they end up making them God, and they start worshiping. I said, okay, yeah, it happens. It happens. I agree. But then he said, that was the case of Krishna, and that was the case of Rama also. They are just human beings, and people just started worshipping, and then ultimately they ended up making them God. So that is a total misconception. We cannot make God. In fact, human are made in the image of God. So that is thorough misconception. And there are many, many other misconceptions, like somebody who think that the Vishwarup, that is the ultimate. And Krishna comes from Vishwarup. Some would say Krishna comes from Vishnu. Vishnu is the source of everything. People would say. Some would say Brahman is the ultimate, like that. Somebody would say Maya is the ultimate, like Mayavadis would say. So different people have different understanding who is the supreme and all. Now, Bhagavad Gita is the essence of Vedic knowledge. So, what Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, let's see what he's saying here. In the 7th verse of 7th chapter, Krishna is saying, Matta paratram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam protam sutrai maniganayava. O conqueror of wealth, that is the address Krishna have done to Arjuna. There is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. So here Krishna is saying, Matta paratram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. There is nothing superior to Krishna. He is the supreme ultimate truth, absolute truth. There is nothing superior to him. So when he is saying something, that is the ultimate authority. He is the ultimate authority, supreme authority. So whatever he is saying, I'll give you moksha, I'll give you liberation. Then there's nobody else other than Krishna who is the supreme authority to give moksha. Everybody is under him. And Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is mentioned, Ekala Ishwar Krishna are Sabhibrita. Krishna is the only Supreme Lord. He is the Ishwar, Supreme Controller, and everybody else are his servants. And that includes everybody else, including Lord Shiva, Mother Durga, Brahmaji, everybody else are his servants. Even the Vishnu Tattvas, they also work under his jurisdiction. So he is the supreme authority. So that's Krishna's position. He is the supreme personality of Godhead. Similarly, the same concept is given in Shrimad Bhagavatam also. Ekecham sa kalapumsam Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vekulam Loke Mridayanti Yuge Yuge. So this is also called Paribhasha Sutra of Srimad Bhagavatam. We have seen Paribhasha Sutra, the main guiding verse in Bhagavad Gita, the previous one, 1866, in the previous slide. And Etecham Sakalapamsam Krishnastu Bhagavasam, that is the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the Paribhasha Sutra of Srimad Bhagavatam. Means every other verse should align with this verse. That is so important, right? So there it is mentioned, Ete Chamsa, all the incarnations are described already before that verse, and it is mentioned, Ete Chamsa Kalapumsam. They are portions and portions of his expansions. His expansions and his expansions of his expansions, they are called Amsha and Kala. So all the other incarnations, Vishnu incarnations, are his in Amsha and Kala. But Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna Swayam, he is Bhagavan. He himself is the supreme personality of Godhead. And he comes when the enemies of Indra creates havoc. Then he comes to deliver Indra and other saintly persons. So there are many, many other literatures, Vedic sources where repeatedly it is mentioned Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. So that's the position of Krishna. Now we come to the next slide where we're talking about the position of living entity. Hmm. So there, 15th chapter is called Purushottam Yoga, where Krishna says, Mamevam sha jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manah shashta indriyani manah shashtani indriyani prakritisthani karshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. So, here Krishna clearly says that living entities are part and parcel of Krishna, fragmental parts of Krishna. Hmm. And why we are struggling? If we are part of Krishna, then we should have a very smooth life. For example, if a person is a son of a rich person, then the expectation is the son is also going to have a luxurious life because the son of a rich person. Then if you are part and parcel of Krishna, then why are you suffering in this material world? Here it is mentioned due to conditioned life. We are conditioned. We are not in liberated stage. Means we are not in the same platform as Krishna currently. So we are in conditioned life, and therefore we are struggling very hard with six senses. We have five senses, you know, eyes, nose, like ears. So these five senses we have, and the sixth sense is mind. So these five knowledge acquiring senses, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. So along with that, mind is the one which is the controlling uh, sense which is the most powerful. So that way we have six senses. And with these six senses, we are struggling constantly in this material world. So that is unfortunate situation of us. But key point over here is that we are eternal part and parcel of Krishna. It is also mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Jiver Swarup Hai Krishner Nityadas. So we are eternal servant of Krishna. That is our original constitutional position. So far, what we understand? We understand that Krishna wants us to surrender unto Him, and He will take care of us. Who is Krishna? He is the Supreme Lord. And who are we? We are eternal part and parcel of Krishna. With that authority, He is giving this instruction to us. Now we move on to the next slide. Question may come: what is the need for surrender? Is like we are living our normal life where from the need for surrender comes into picture. So Arjuna, in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we can see that Arjuna saw that his relatives are on the opposite side, and he would have to fight with them. And when he's going to fight with them, he will have to kill so many near and dear close relatives. And then he gave five reasons for not taking part in the battle of Kurukshetra. And he just kept his bow and arrow down and he said, Krishna, that I am not going to fight. And then in the second chapter, after expressing his weakness of his heart, Arjuna, despite being a very, very capable person who has tremendous control over his senses, so much so that when he went to the heavenly realms, Urvashi actually proposed him, hmm, to unite with him. And Urvashi is such a very, very beautiful, heavenly society girl, and irresistible. But Arjuna, due to his sense control, he was able to, you know, uh, I mean, I would say reject, but he said that you are in the level of my mother because you had relationship with my forefathers. So that way he, didn't want to get involved, and that happened because he had tremendous sense control, and because of that, Urvashi actually cursed him that for 1 year we'll have to live like a woman, and that actually helped him uh, during the Agyatavas, when Pandavas had the Agyatavas on the 13th year of their Vanavas exile. Now, that is the capability of Arjuna. And there are, from military strength perspective, we know Arjuna is invincible. He even pleased Mahadeva by his fighting skill and all, and he acquired a lot of celestial weapons. That Arjuna, who is having a golden chariot which can go any direction and win any battle for him, and he has Gandiva, Akshay Dunit, his arrows doesn't get exhausted. So all these things he has, but he's not able to solve his problem where he's stuck, and therefore he is taking shelter of his spiritual master Krishna. And in the seventh verse of second chapter, Arjuna is formally taking shelter of Krishna. And he's saying, Karpanya dosha upahata sabhava prichhamitam dharma sammuda cheta yashya sannichitam bruhitan me shishyateham sadimam tam prapanyam. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. So far, the relationship was the equal platform. Arjuna and Krishna both are like friends. Now, Arjuna is taking subordinate position to Krishna and asking for guidance, fully surrendering to Krishna and saying, whatever is best for me, please instruct me. I am totally confused and I have lost all my composure. And the description is given how he lost his composure. His mouth was drying up, his body was shivering, his skin was burning. All these descriptions are given in first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So that was his situation. Now he is surrendering unto Krishna to instruct him. So the point is, what is the need for surrender? Despite all our material capabilities in life, we'll come across a lot of hurdles. Some of those hurdles we'll be able to resolve. Some of those we'll be able to resolve by taking help from others. And in many cases, things will come which we may not be able to solve even by taking help from others. And then we'll have to surrender unto Guru and Krishna. And ultimately, it's in the hand of Krishna that mercy comes through Guru Parampara to solve those problems or guide us in such a way so that we become spiritually nourished. And when we become spiritually nourished, eventually we move towards Krishna. That is moksha, and eventually it comes as Krishna Prem, love of Krishna. That is the Pancham Purushartha. We know about Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. And love of Godhead is the fifth one, which is the ultimate goal of life. So, through the process of surrender, not only we get rid of all this material contamination and material binding, eventually we attain love of Godhead, which is the ultimate goal of life. So that is the need for surrender. Without surrender, we cannot do it by ourselves. Even if we don't have any problem, if we want to go back to Godhead by our own effort, we can never ever attain that. So without surrender, there is no other way to go there. Bhaktyamam abhijanati. Krishna says, by the process of bhakti only one can know me. And without knowing Krishna, we cannot surrender to him and we cannot attain love of God. So there is no alternative of surrendering. And also it is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam that if we think about going higher and higher, you know, even if you go to heavenly realm, there also demons attack. The demigods are attacked by demons. And in Bhagavad Gita also, it should mention Abrahma Bhuvanoloke Punarabhirtana Arjuna. Even if you go to the Brahma Lok, we'll have to come back again and take birth again, the earthly realm. And Shine Punya Marteloka Vishanti. Even if you go to heavenly realm, we'll again come back. So there is no respite, no escape. Only surrendering process gives us quick respite, and that is the only solution. Without surrender, we cannot practice spirituality, which is the ultimate goal of life, to align ourselves spiritually with Krishna so that eventually we attain love of God. So surrender is must, and surrender happens through Guru Parampara, bona fide Guru Parampara. Without surrender, we cannot attain Krishna, and the Parampara should be bona fide, and the member should be able member of the bona fide Guru Parampara. So we talked about surrender, need for surrender. Then the next point is what happens if followed versus not followed. If the instruction is followed versus not followed, that's the point. So in the 58th verse of 18th chapter, Krishna said, Mat chitta sarva durgani mat prasadat tarishasi atha chetvam ahankaran nashoshasi vinakshasi vinakshayasi. So if you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness, but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. So both sides, Krishna is saying, if you hear, what will happen? If you don't hear, what will happen? So Krishna is giving Bhagavad Gita, Vedic literature, all the assistance, Guru Parampara, deities, devotees, temples, whatever he is giving, that is only for one purpose, to take us back to Godhead. So therefore, until unless we hear his instruction through all these different mediums, all or one or two or whatever, we need to ultimately have Shastra Saddha. Then other things will come. But we need to hear his instructions. These Vedas are coming from the breathing of Krishna. So everything is connected to Krishna. So if we hear instructions of Krishna, we'll be delivered. But if we don't, then we'll be lost. So this is not a threat that, oh, if you don't hear, you go to hell. The point is, what does it mean by the point that we'll be lost? The point mentioned here, will be lost, means that we'll lose the opportunity to make a good use of our human life, human form of life. So if we cannot make good use of human form of life, then instead of going back to Godhead, we may end up going to lower species due to our karma, because there is no intervention. If we don't surrender to Krishna, our karma will bring its automatic reactions. It is not going to be wiped out. Rather, will accrue more and more karma, and that means more and more reaction, and we'll have to suffer, and the cycle of birth and death will go on. So therefore, there's a need for surrender to Krishna, and therefore there's a need for following the instruction of Krishna, and it is extreme foolishness not to follow his instructions. So this is what we discussed here in the 5th slide. Now we come to the 6th slide, insurmountable binding power of Maya. Now one may think, I have a lot of capability, I have a lot of material power, like Duryodhana was saying in the 1st chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that I have this personality, that personality, I have Bhishma, I have Drona, Karna, Ashwatthama, all these warriors on my side. So therefore, I am going to win. My army is protected by Bhishma, and Pandava's army is protected by Bhima. Bhishma has a lot of power, unlimited power, and Bhima is limited power. Therefore, I am going to win. So he was boasting his material power, all those things, and he was taking shelter of his material capability and material whatever position he has. But eventually, in that case, we are taking shelter of Maya. So the point is, if we think that taking shelter of Maya will get all the success, it's total illusion. Because Maya is also Krishna's power, Krishna's energy. And in the 14th verse of 7th chapter, Krishna says, Daivayasya gunamayi mama maya duratvaya mame ye prapadante maya metam tarantite. This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. So if we try to cross over the ocean of material existence, it is extremely difficult. Even the demigods mention that if somebody is trying to take shelter of us, means demigods, and trying to cross this ocean of material existence, then this is equivalent of holding the tail of a dog and trying to cross over the ocean. The dog is swimming and we are holding the tail, hoping that dog will take us on the other side of the ocean. That is that kind of foolishness. If we take shelter of demigods and try to go to the other side of Bhavasagar or material existence, impossible. So if we take shelter of Maya, that is also impossible because Maya is going to put us into illusion. So the solution is, and it's unsurmountable. We cannot just like if we try to cross the ocean by swimming, we cannot. So insurmountable. We cannot. Even if you're expert Olympic swimmer, we cannot cross the ocean by swimming. So, and even let's say we do something, say this means that means whatever means we do some way or the other. Still, it is nowhere near to the insurmountable uh, power of Maya. We can never ever cross over Maya. Only way is to surrender unto Krishna. If we do so, then the material existence becomes the ocean of material existence, shrinks to become how much? It becomes as big as the water contained in the impression created by the hoof print of a calf. Vatsapadam, padam padam, vatsapadam. That is very, very small. How much is that? Calf's footprint, that much becomes the whole material existence becomes that much if we surrender to Krishna. So that is the power of surrender unto Krishna. That's what he wanted to teach us in Bhagavad Gita, in other Vedic literature also. Now, moving on, what is the best path to follow and why? Now, if you want to surrender, one may be full surrender, one may be partial surrender, one may be, our own effort, whatever. There may be different ways we may imagine. So let us try to understand what are the different paths given in Bhagavad Gita to move forward from our current existence. One may say, okay, I worship different demigods, one or two or three or many. I worship demigod. So what is my position? At least I'm showing some Shraddha, worshipping demigod. Basically, demigods are part and parcel of Krishna. Indra, Adi, different demigods are considered hands of Krishna, through whom Krishna performs different activities in the material world. So in the 23rd verse of 9th chapter, it is mentioned, Ye api yanya devata bhaktya yajante shraddhayannita te api mam eva konteya yajante avidipurvakam yajante avidipurvakam. Those who are devotees of other gods and who worship them with faith actually worship only me, O son of Kunti. But they do so in a wrong way. So what is going to happen? What is been meant here is that if somebody is worshipping demigod, then indirectly they're worshipping Krishna only. But they're doing that in a wrong way. So I have observed, I have seen when people do demigod worship, there are a lot of mantras to satisfy Krishna or Vishnu. So it is also mentioned in the 29th verse of Bhagavad Gita, Bhoktaram Yaggatapasam Sarvaloko Maheshwaram. So he is the Sarvaloka Maheshwaram and he is the Bhokta of Yagya and Tapasya. Whatever austerity and sacrifice we do, Krishna is the ultimate beneficiary of those activities. So he is the ultimate supreme lord. He is the controller of all other demigods also. So when we propitiate the demigods, then ultimately the benefit goes to Krishna, but that goes indirectly. So therefore, it is called Avidhi Purvaka, wrong way of worshipping Krishna. The right way is to directly worship Krishna. So that's the point. So if we do demigod worship, then we are worshipping Krishna in an indirect way, which is a wrong way, as clearly mentioned by Krishna in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So therefore, we should directly worship Krishna. It is also mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, Akama sarva kama va moksha kama udharadi tibrena bhakti yogena jajati purusha param. So one may have many desires, material desires and all. One may have desire for liberation only, and one may have desire. Uh, Akama means one may have just to serve Lord, may not have any material desire. So there are different categories of people. A lot of material desire, desire for liberation, and just to please Krishna. Whatever one may have. In either case, all case and other case, it is recommended that if somebody is broad-minded, then one should worship Krishna only. And Tibrena Bhakti Yogana. Intensely one should worship Krishna. That is the best path. So, demigod worship is not recommended in Bhagavad Gita. Next, what is the best path to follow and why? So let us see what are paths, what paths are given in the catalog in Bhagavad Gita. One is Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. So these are given in Bhagavad Gita. So let us see what happens with the Jnana Yoga if we follow Jnana Yoga. It is mentioned, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Prapaddate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlava in the 19th verse of 7th chapter. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. So, actually, if somebody is in knowledge, practicing Jnana Yoga, so after many births and deaths, eventually one will come to the conclusion that Vasudeva, Krishna, is the Supreme Lord and He is in everything. So if we talk to somebody, let's say somebody is new, doesn't know much, and if we talk to that person, and if that person believes in our words that Krishna is the Supreme, He is there everywhere, He is the controller, Supreme Controller, He is the reservoir of everything, He is the source of everything. If that person believes in that, in one session we speak to that person, and if that person believes in that, starting from zero to this, whatever we say, then that person has saved many lifetimes, millions of lifetimes worth of effort just by believing in our words. You know, so association of devotee shortened their long, arduous journey by just giving this pure knowledge that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. So that's the power of Bhakti Yoga. On the contrary, if we just go by Jnana Yoga, so after many births, we'll come to the same conclusion eventually. So we'll waste a lot of time in between, and there'll be a lot of distractions also. It may not be straight path. And not only that, if we are Advaitavadi, if we are thinking Brahman is the ultimate and all, then our klesha adhikataras tesam. the bhakta achetasam. Abhakta asakta achetasam means if you're asakta, if you're attached to the abhakta, uh, means unmanifested Brahman, then our journey can be very, very painful. Klesha adhikar, we may get a lot of trouble. That's the case for those who are impersonalists. Impersonalists, Jnana Yogis, they go through a lot of trouble, lifetime after lifetime. That is easily avoidable in Bhakti Yoga. So that's the fallacy of Jnana Yoga if you follow that path. But those who are hell bent on that, so then definitely that is elevation compared to doing nothing or lower modes of operation activities. So then that's fine to follow Jnana Yoga, but it's not for everybody. Then Dhyana Yoga. So in the 45th verse of 6th chapter, Prayatnat yatatmanastu yogi samsuddha kilvisha aneka janma samsiddhyas toto yati param gatim. And when the yogi engages himself with sincere endeavor in making further progress, being washed of all contaminations, then ultimately achieving perfection after many, many bars of patient practice, he attains the supreme goal. So here again, many, many bars of practice, one attains the supreme goal if one is following the yogic practice or dhyana yoga. So this path is also not a quick path, obviously, and a lot of obstacles, a lot of struggle will be there, a lot of chance for distraction will be there, and many, many lifetimes. So that's the problem with the Dhyana Yoga. So then the next point is what is the best path to follow? So we have seen this path in the catalog, and Karma Yoga we had shown there. So Karma Yoga actually eventually leads to Bhakti Yoga when properly guided. So because Karma Yoga initially may be Sakam Karma Yoga, then it becomes Nishkam Karma Yoga, then eventually it comes to Bhakti Yoga. So what is Sakam Karma Yoga? Means initially we may, let's say we do some activity and we get some result out of it, and part of it, part of it we offer to Krishna. So that is Sakam Karma Yoga. Then what is Nishkam Karma Yoga? There we may perform the activities of our choice, but whatever the results comes, everything we surrender to Krishna, offer to Krishna. So that is Nishkam Karma Yoga. And Bhakti Yoga means even the activity itself we surrender to Krishna. We just act according to the instruction of spiritual master. That's it. Neither the work nor the fruits we claim of. Everything surrendered to Krishna. So in the 26th verse of 14th chapter, it is mentioned, Mam cha bhavacharina bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatitaitan brahma bhoyaya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. So if we try to get rid of the modes of material nature, it's not easy. Just like we have said, material nature is insurmountable. But if we take shelter of Krishna, if we engage in devotional service unfailing in all circumstances, then we can easily transcend these three modes and come to the level of Brahman. So that's the way. By the process of devotional service, we can um, go beyond the three modes. The next is what is the best path to follow and why? So it is mentioned in the 55th verse of Bhagavad Gita. Bhaktyamam abhijanati yavan yashasmi tattataha tato mam tatta gyatva vishate tadantaram. One can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. Only by devotional service. Exclusively. Nothing else. Only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of me, by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. So one becomes eligible to enter into the kingdom of God when one follows pure devotional service and becomes fully Krishna conscious. So that's the way. Through the process of devotional service, only one can attain Krishna. One can know Krishna, one can attain Krishna. So bhakti is the doorway to go back to Godhead. There is no other way. And result of following Lord's instruction. So far, Arjuna was hearing till the 72nd verse. He was hearing, and Arjuna, I mean, I think previously also he spoke, I think 72nd verse or so. But in the 73rd verse, specifically when he was asked, yes, till 72nd verse, Krishna spoke. And now, here it is, Arjuna is speaking. What is the result of hearing from Krishna so far? And Krishna is saying, Arjuna is saying, Arjuna vacha, nastamoha smritir labdha, tat prasada, tat prasadan maya chuta, sthito asmin gata sandeha, karishe vachanam tava. He said, my dear Krishna, oh infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt and am prepared to act according to your instruction. So, see the transformation. What was the situation of Arjuna? He was in indecision. He was feeling weakness in his heart. He was not firm. And he was giving 5 reasons not to fight. His Gandhi was falling from his hand. All those things were happening. And now he's very, very firm. He's determined. And he's determined. How he became like that? By the mercy of Krishna. All his illusions are gone. And now he's firm and free from doubt. And he's ready to fight according to Krishna's instruction. So he's fully surrendered to Krishna. So that is the following result of following Lord's instruction, surrendering to Krishna. Now, uh, ultimate benefit. What is the ultimate benefit? That is attainment of Lord. Mam upetatu, mam upetta punarjanma, dukhalayam ashashyatam, napnuvanti mahatmana, samsiddhim paramam gata. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to the temporary world. After attaining Krishna, we never return to the temporary world, which is full of miseries. This material world is full of miseries because dukhalayam ashashtam. This is full of miseries because they have, and why those people they don't come back? Because they have attained the highest perfection. Their life has become perfect. They have attained highest perfection. That's why they don't come back to this temporary place of misery called this material world. And the last point is, what are the 4 activities for that purpose? One may say, okay, we understood everything. What to do? Tell us. So that's what we discussed about the 66th verse in the beginning. Now we're talking about the 65th verse. Now, what are the things we need to do? What Krishna expects from us? So here it is mentioned by Krishna. This is mentioned twice on the 9th chapter, 34th verse, and here also in the 65th verse of 18th chapter. Manmana bhavamad bhakto mad yaji mam namaskuru mam evasasi satyam te pratijani priyasi me. So what are the 4 things? Always think of me. Become my devotee. Worship me and offer your homage unto me. So as I was talking before, always remember me, never forget me is the ultimate instruction of Vedic literature. So here Krishna says, always think of me. So always remember Krishna. Become my devotee. You should become a devotee of Krishna. Krishna is asking us to become his devotee, not anybody else. Worship me. We need to worship Krishna and offer obeisances, homages to Krishna. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you, this is because you are my very dear friend. So Arjuna is very dear friend. That's why he's promising. And we can become dear to him also just by following his instructions. And we just need to do these 4 things and we can please him. So these are the instructions given by Krishna. So this is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Just wanted to cover in a nutshell that what we understand from here, what we need to do, and what Krishna is expecting from us. So now, any question out of whatever we have discussed so far?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, it's not a question actually. I want to confirm that is attaining Krishna Prem higher than attaining moksha?
Yes, yes. Thank you for asking this question. Yes, definitely. Yeah, moksha is nothing but getting rid of the material miseries, right? We have this birth, death, old age, and disease, and adidevi, adivoti, adhyatmic kleshas, and all, right? So we are suffering constantly for that. So when you get moksha, we are, let's say, going to the Brahma Jyoti. There will not go through these miseries, birth, death, old age, disease, and all those things. We are not going to suffer due to those things. So moksha is just absence of these miseries. But this is not ultimate because Jiver Sarupai Krishner Nityadas. So we are eternal servant of Krishna. And in our constitutional position, we are supposed to serve Krishna. That's our means the part should serve the whole. So we are part of Krishna, therefore we should serve Krishna. That's our original constitutional position. But if we try to do something else, then we'll not be happy. So that's why our Acharya said, Kaivalya Narakadisha means there's Kaivalya Mukti or Sayujya Mukti, where one would like to merge in the Brahma Jyoti. That is worse than hell. If somebody is going to hell, one may still come back, practice devotional service. But if somebody is going to merge in the Brahma Jyoti, situation is hopeless, right? So we want to go to the position where we can engage in the devotional service of Krishna and more in a purer way. That should be our goal, whether we are in this world or whether we are going back to God. Irrespective of any situation, we want to engage in pure, loving devotional service of Krishna lifetime after lifetime. So that is the ultimate goal, Krishna Prem, mm, which is much beyond uh, moksha. One, it can be very dry. Moksha is like selfish. I just want to get rid of this. I'm out of here. I have gone through a lot of pain in this world. I just want to get out of here. But that doesn't mean that I have love for Krishna. So that's why it is much inferior compared to love of God. Is that clear, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, now it's clear. So in Bhagavad Gita, it's given there are three types of realization: Bhagavan realization, Paramatma, and another one is there's another one. So
Brahman. Yeah.
Bhagavan realization is only moksha, right? I mean
Okay.
moksha plus Krishna Prem. It is all in one, right?
Actually, moksha, what usually people understand is they understand about Brahman realization. Kaivalya. You must have heard Kaivalya, right? Kaivalya Narakadisha.
Uh, no, I've
That's the
heard about Brahman realization where we merge with God.
yeah. So
Mhm.
I'm saying if you keep your ears open, you will also hear in the material world a lot of people they talk about merging the Brahman, that is Kaivalya basically. What is now this is moksha, as we say, dharma artha kama moksha. So mostly people understand that uh, moksha means we get rid of all the pains in this world. But the point is, this is not the ultimate goal of life. First of all, you come to the full knowledge. Then you understand what is what, right? So we can come to the full knowledge when you are a devotee. So when you are a devotee, then you see, with full knowledge. It is mentioned. that I'll give you the comparison, maybe I have spoken earlier. The comparison of the bliss what we can attain from moksha versus what we can attain from Krishna Prem. In moksha, whatever Brahmananda we get, which is definitely very, very high compared to the material pleasure. Whatever material pleasure in the earthly realm we enjoy, whatever. In the heavenly realm, it is much, much more higher. You can understand. Sarga Sukh, as people say. And if we go higher and higher in the Brahmalok, the happiness becomes more subtler. It's much more happiness, but it becomes subtle. It's not like gross, like in the material, in the earthly realm. So it becomes very, very subtle. But enjoyment, happiness increases much more. And if we go beyond that, if we go to Brahmajyoti, so that increases even more. So this Brahmananda is very, 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 very blissful. Now, should we stop there? The comparison is given by our Acharya as that if we multiply Brahmananda by the factor of 150 trillion, that is parardha, uh, 300 some 311 trillion, it is the lifetime of Brahma, para. So this is parardha means 150 plus trillion. So if we multiply that with Brahmananda, whatever we are going to get, that is not even a drop of the ocean of bliss what we can attain in Krishna Prem. So that's the comparison. Means no comparison. So Brahmananda is nothing in front of Krishna Prem. That's why Krishna Prem, one of the characteristic of um, pure devotional service is moksha laghuta krita. Mm. Moksha is like nothing in front of pure love of Krishna, pure devotion of Krishna. That's why moksha laghuta krita means insignificant. Moksha is insignificant in front of pure devotion service or pure love of Godhead. So that is the case. So uh, when we talk about the features of absolute truth, Vedantatas tattavidam tatta yad jnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdayate. So Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, these are the three different features of the absolute truth. Brahman is the lowest level in the sense it's not that matured realization of the absolute truth. Paramatma realization is higher, and Bhagavan realization is the topmost. So the Gyanis, they strive for the Brahman realization, and the Yogis, they strive for Paramatma realization, and devotees, they strive for Bhagavan realization, which is ultimate and blissful, because there comes all the service and all. And we are eternal servant of Krishna, therefore our real happiness comes from the service. And those who are Brahmavadis and Mayavadis also, they don't believe in service. In case of Mayavadi, they don't have any affection for the lotus feet of Krishna also, any regard for the lotus feet of Krishna also. That's why from that elevated position, they again come down. And Brahmavadi has regard for the lotus feet of Krishna, but they are more eager or more attracted to the Brahman feature of Krishna. But devotees are most intelligent. They they love, they're attracted to the personal feature of Krishna. And that is also mentioned by Krishna in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita when Arjuna asked him, which one is better, personal form of you or impersonal form of you? Impersonal worship is better or personal worship is better? Krishna said it's personal worship which is better. So that's the answer. Does that answer your question, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Now I've understood.
Thank you for asking such a nice question. And do you have any other question, Mataji?
No, not another question.
Okay. Thank you. I am very grateful that you have taken out the time and joined the session. I'm very, very thankful to you. I'm grateful to you.
I'm also very grateful to you, Prabhuji, because this session was very nice and it was like a summary of the Bhagavad Gita, so it felt very nice and it was beneficial. Could understand many new things also. That was very nice. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. And if you have any other question also, which may pop up later on, feel free to ask. Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji, I'll ask. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare
Srimad
Krishna.
Bhagavad Gita ki
Jai.
jai. Hare Krishna.
Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.